5 years ago, Damian made a painful decision. He released Kwibi, a gorilla he had hand-raised since infancy, back into its natural habitat. After a few years, a wave of emotions took over Damian as he decided to look for Kwibi in the jungle, hoping to reconnect with his old friend. What would be the reaction of his old friend? Will he accept the hand of friendship, or will it be the other way around? Let's find out. Our story revolves around two friends, a man named Damian Aspinall and a gorilla called Kwibi. But first, let's rewind a little bit. Damian Aspinall was born into a family of animal lovers. He grew up surrounded by exotic creatures at his family's English estate. Tigers roamed the halls, wolves in the gardens, and gorillas were simply a part of daily life. For young Damian, this was completely normal. As an adult, Aspinall took his family's passion for animals to new heights. He established the Aspinall Foundation, which operates 2 wildlife parks in Kent, England. But Aspinall's true mission goes beyond simply housing animals in cages. His dream is to return as many animals as possible to their natural habitats in the wild. This brings us to Kwibi, who was born at Howlett's Wild Animal Park in Kent. Kwibi was hand-raised by Aspinall from infancy, and for 5 years, the man and gorilla formed an unbreakable bond. But Aspinall knew that Kwibi deserved a life of true freedom. So, in 2005, the difficult decision was made to release the young gorilla into a protected reserve in Gabon, West Africa. Fast forward 5 years, Kwibi, now a full-grown silverback, had been living wild and free in the jungles of Gabon. Aspinall hadn't seen his old friend in all that time. Would Kwibi even remember him? And if he did, how would he react? There was only one way to find out. The search begins. Aspinall decided to set on an extraordinary expedition deep into the African jungle. His mission was to find Kwibi and see if their bond had endured the test of time and distance. But this was no easy task. Searching for a single gorilla in over 1 million acres of dense forest is truly like finding a needle in a haystack. For days, Aspinall and his team traveled through the jungle, calling out Kwibi's name as they navigated through rivers and pushed through thick vegetation. The search seemed endless, and doubts began to creep in. What if they couldn't find him? What if Kwibi had moved on to a different part of the reserve? Or worse, what if something had happened to him in the years since his release? Adding to the tension was the fact that Kwibi had become known as somewhat of a problem gorilla. He had reportedly attacked the last few humans he'd encountered in the forest. Aspinall knew that approaching a 300-pound wild gorilla could be incredibly dangerous, even if that gorilla was once your friend. As the days passed by, Aspinall refused to give up hope. He knew Kwibi was out there somewhere, and he was determined to find him. The team pressed on, traveling deeper into the heart of the jungle. Then, on what felt like just another day of fruitless searching, everything changed. As Aspinall's boat rounded a bend in the river, a familiar face appeared on the bank. There, coming out from the bushes, was Kwibi. The reunion. We can only imagine the mix of emotions Aspinall must have felt in that moment. The happiness of seeing his old friend, certainly, but also afraid of the unwanted consequences. This was no longer the young gorilla he had known back in England. This was a fully mature silverback, with all the strength and potential aggression that comes with it. Aspinall knew he had to proceed with extreme caution. He quickly briefed his team, setting up a plan in case things went wrong. If Kwibi showed any signs of hostility, they were to throw food to distract him, but importantly, to throw it away from themselves, not towards them. With his heart pounding, Aspinall stepped out of the boat and onto the riverbank. This was the moment of truth. Would Kwibi recognize him? Would he attack? Or would their old bond somehow still be there? As Aspinall approached, he heard a sound that instantly put him at ease. Kwibi's familiar love gurgle. This deep sound he made was one Aspinall knew well from their years together. At that moment, he knew everything would be okay. What happened next was nothing short of magical. Kwibi, this massive wild gorilla, gently reached out to Aspinall like a long-lost friend. There was no aggression, no fear, just pure joy at their reunion. Aspinall described it as one of the great moments of his life. The two old friends sat together on the riverbank, Kwibi holding Aspinall close and making sounds continuously. It was as if he was trying to tell Aspinall everything that had happened in the 5 years they'd been apart. Aspinall, for his part, spoke softly to Kwibi, reassuring him and expressing his own happiness at their reunion. A deeper connection. As we watched this incredible reunion, it's natural to wonder about the depth of the connection between humans and animals. Aspinall believes that the bond he shares with gorillas like Kwibi is as strong as, if not stronger than, many human relationships. This belief comes from Aspinall's unique upbringing. Growing up surrounded by exotic animals, he developed a profound respect and understanding for these creatures from a very young age. To him, interacting closely with gorillas and other wild animals was simply a normal part of life. This early exposure shaped Aspinall's life mission. Today, he's dedicated to not just caring for animals locked in cages, but to giving them a chance at true freedom in the wild. His foundation has successfully released dozens of gorillas back into protected areas of Africa, with Kwibi being just one of many success stories. But the reunion with Kwibi wasn't just about rekindling an old friendship. It also served as powerful proof that captive-born and hand-raised gorillas can successfully adapt to life in the wild. Kwibi had not only survived but thrived in his new environment. He had even started his own family, proudly introducing Aspinall to everyone, though Aspinall admitted to being a bit nervous about meeting these fully wild gorillas. The farewell. As beautiful as their reunion was, Aspinall knew it couldn't last forever. Kwibi belonged in the wild now, and it was time for Aspinall to leave him to his life in the jungle. But saying goodbye proved to be harder than either of them expected. When Aspinall tried to depart, Kwibi followed the boat along the riverbank, clearly reluctant to see his old friend go. That night, Kwibi sat on the opposite side of the river from Aspinall's camp, calling out to him throughout the night. The next morning, Kwibi was still there, waiting on the riverbank. It was a bittersweet moment for Aspinall, filled with both joy at their bond and sadness at having to part ways once again. But he took comfort in knowing that Kwibi was living the life he was meant to, free and wild in his natural habitat. Ending note. As we reflect on this story, it's clear that the reunion between Aspinall and Kwibi is about more than just one man and one gorilla. It speaks to the broader mission of conservation and the complex relationships between humans and wildlife. Aspinall's work challenges us to think differently about wildlife conservation. While zoos and wildlife parks play an important role in protecting endangered species, Aspinall believes that the ultimate goal should be to return animals to the wild whenever possible. But beyond the conservation aspect, this story touches on something even more intense: the ability for deep emotional connections between humans and animals. The happiness and joy of Aspinall and Kwibi's reunion reminds us that these magnificent creatures are not so different from us. They feel, they remember, and they form bonds. In a world where human activity continues to threaten countless species, stories like this serve as powerful reminders of what we stand to lose. Every gorilla, every tiger, every animal facing extinction is not just a statistic, they're individuals capable of forming the kind of bond we witnessed between Aspinall and Kwibi. Whether it's supporting conservation efforts, making more ethical choices in our daily lives, or simply spreading awareness, we all have a role to play in protecting the incredible diversity of life on our planet. As we face the challenges of protecting our planet's wildlife, let's just remember the image of that joyful reunion on a riverbank in Gabon as a powerful reminder of why this work is so vitally important and why every life matters, be it humans or animals. And with this, we reached the end of today's video. Was it best for Kwibi to stay in the wild after their reunion? Or would returning to England with Aspinall have been better? Do let us know in the comment section below, and if you liked today's video, give us a thumbs up and do not forget to hit the subscribe, share this video with your friends and family, and press the bell icon for more upcoming videos. We'll see you next time with a newer video. Stay tuned and take care.